Hey, what's up, Alan? Here with Burton Bell of Fear Factory. What's up, man?
Much, man. Here at the heavy MTL.
Yeah. Now this is it's actually kind of sort of the Mayhem Festival, right? Which is touring. You're part of that too, right?
No, we're not part of the Mayhem
Okay.
Festival. We're Fear Factory's actually we're on our own headlining tour. We got 36 Crazy Fists and After the Burial and Baptized in Blood, and Divine Heresy's also touring with us. But we were invited to do this show, and so pretty excited about it. Get to see some of my old friends in Slayer and Megadeth, High on Fire. Walking around, there's Anvil right next to us. I'm like, whoa. And then there's Melissa Oftemar.
So you guys just decided, I guess, to jump on, see some friends?
We were invited, so we said, hell yeah. And let's do it. We made time for it in our schedule, and here we are, and I'm excited. Even though we're playing kind of early, around 3:45, but still, we're ready to bring it and show how the world that's done.
It's very Warped Tour of you, the 3:45 set.
I haven't played this early in a long time.
I guess we should talk a little bit about Quebec, because we are in Quebec, and there actually is like a crazy metal scene here. Like, there's tons of metalheads in this city.
We've been coming. Fear Factory's been coming here ever since our first record. Early 1993, we opened up for Obituary at Fun Electrique.
Yeah.
And
cool place, man.
It was a cool
We were
place.
there last night.
It's still, still a good time. And we played in Metropolis a few times, but we managed to come through Montreal every time. And we don't play Quebec City that often, but the Quebecois, they come out and they enjoy the music, and they are metal.
Yeah, no, totally. A lot of great bands came out of here too,
I did not know that.
Well, there's Voivod, I guess.
I should have known that.
Great
Yes.
band. Despised Icon, I like them.
Okay. All
Pretty
right.
heavy, pretty spastic.
I hear a lot of bands, I just don't know where they come from a lot of the times.
Well, I mean,
I knew Voivod was Canadian, but I didn't know which part.
Could have been BC, maybe. Who knows?
Too cool for BC.
Montreal's really pissed that I said that right now. Are you aware of, like, there's all these bands playing the festival that cite Fear Factory's, a major influence. Are you aware of, like, how much of an impact you guys actually had over the years? Like, is there a moment where maybe a band came up to you and they're just like, dude, like, does that ever get weird,
For me, it does get weird. It's just like, oh, hey, it's, they're fans as well, and I consider myself a humble person, and I just take it in, and I just, think about it, and when they do that, I do think about it, and I feel like I've become a teacher over the years, or some type of sage.
You're like KRS-One.
Yeah, I would like that. KRS-One's pretty dope. I feel like what Fear Factory and what we have done has offered something inspirational to another young mind in an artistic manner, and in this world, that is a positive note. So I'm like, I feel good about it.
I mean, talking about the positivity, Fear campaign, why the political social stuff? Why was that always something that Fear Factory was about?
That's just how I think. I wasn't really I liked some metal growing up, but I was more of a punk kid. Discharge and Dead Kennedys, Black Flag. Well, I don't know about that, but it's like, it's their politically charged lyrics that really inspired me, and books like 1984 or Animal Farm, and just to name a couple, really inspired my mode of thinking when I was a kid, and that's what I liked to write about. When it's man versus the machine. The machine is not just a physical machine; it's the establishment machine. And to me, that's a struggle that we deal with every day, and it's very topical. And the politics and the social structure of the world it's something that affects us every day, and it's a subject that never gets tired, because it's the same. It's the same, but it's just a different aspect every year.
You know what, man? It's funny you say machine. Like, one of the things about Fear Factory that I've always thought is, it's like, you guys sound like a well-oiled machine. You mentioned Divine Heresy being here, and Dino's back in the band.
Yeah.
How you guys feeling now?
We feel great. It's whatever happened was water under the bridge. We hashed it out before we even started talking about reuniting him coming back into the machine.
Yeah.
And that's Fear Factory's style. It's always been what we've liked. You know, we were a fan of industrial music as well as metal, and you know, it's his riffs that are very inspired by an industrial sensibility, mechanical, precise, rhythmic, and that's what and repetitive, and that's what his style is, and that has that industrial tinge to it. So, you know, when you talk about well-oiled machine, yeah, we formed our sound to be that.
I have to ask you, like any good journalist, I did my Wikipedia research before the interview. I have to ask you about Smells Like Teen Spirit. Is it true that you're actually one of the guys in the crowd?
It is true, yeah. I was a huge fan of Nirvana before Nevermind came out, and you know, they played a show before the record came out, and in LA at the Roxy, and they were passing out flyers, and so yeah, come to our video shoot. It's like, okay. So we went down there. It was about 100 of us, and we spent there all day. You know, they fed us lunch, and you know, got to smoke some weed outside and whatever. But yeah, you know, if I actually sat down with you, I could point myself out.
I think according to Wikipedia, you're at the 212 mark. I think for people.
Well, there's a couple different parts. You know, I looked completely different. I mean, I had long blonde hair and long goatee. I was wearing a white shirt and shorts and combat boots. I guess, you know, not too different, but yeah. In the beginning, you see like this leg go over the crowd. You know, like early surfing.
That's you.
That was me too, and because I had the record like 6 months before it came out. A friend of ours, I was working with him. He played cello on the song "Something in the Way," and so we were listening to that record all the time. So I knew the record inside and out.
Did you get a sense then? Like, I mean,
yeah.
Did you know it was going to happen?
I knew right when we heard the record like 3 times in. We're like, wow, this is gonna be big, and it was. You know, a band that I used to see, you know, play small clubs and. You know, used to walk up to him and just whatever, you know. It's just like I saw him with before Dave Grohl was in the band.
Yeah, Bleach.
Yeah, I saw them on Bleach a few times, and you know, it was cool, you know. But it was you know, the last time I saw them after Nevermind came out was in LA, and it was a huge show, and I was like, you know, this is the last time I'm gonna see them.
Sure enough.
You know, it was great for them, but I was like, fuck, you know, these guys are huge.
Did you get a sense of you know, being a frontman yourself? You know, like, did you get a sense of you know, being a frontman at all from that? I mean,
that point,
it's probably a weird example.
I just started being a frontman at that point.
Yeah.
And you know, Fear Factory just started in 1990. That record came out shortly after that. Actually, there was a song, you know, there's a song on Nevermind that inspired the lyrics to Martyr.
Get out of here.
I think it's Territorial Pissings, where it's like, gotta get away, find a way better, you know. And I used that vibe for Martyr. Got to get away. So Nevermind. There's a Nevermind rip on Sullivan Machine.
That's awesome. Well, I guess another question on the frontman tip is, you know, you play a big festival like this. You know, you guys have evolved over your careers. How do you connect with that guy that's like way at the back? How do you go Bruce Dickinson? Or like, how do you do that? How do you get to that guy way back there with the shitty seats?
You know, when you're standing on the stage and there's a lot of people, of course, you know, a few thousand people, you know, I can make eye contact with the people in the front, you know, but you know, you have to relate vocally to everybody, and there are ways to do it. You know, you just like you got to stand up there. You got to, first of all, be confident. You got to speak to everyone, you know, and you got to be considerate. You know, consideration goes a long way, and you got to speak to them like they know you. And you know, I consider myself a friend of everybody. You know, I'm just like them. You know, the only difference between me and them is that I'm on stage. Yeah. And so that's how I think all the time.
Which is refreshing in metal, because you get a lot of the like.
There's a lot of dudes like that. You know, they're flexing in front, and it was like, you know, that's their vibe. That's all good, but that's not me.
Hardcore went that way too for a bit. You know, like.
It still is.
Yeah. I guess the last question I wanted to ask you is, now this is kind of a weird question to ask you because Gene Hoglan's in the band, but who's your favorite member of Death Clock?
I like Brendan. I like Brendan.
Yeah?
Brendan's cool. Yeah. I like Murderface though. No, you're actually talking about the cartoon.
Yeah.
Metalocalypse. Yeah. Metalocalypse. I like Murderface.
Have you guys ever had a Metalocalypse moment where like maybe you played on an iceberg or you know, to see in Danzig or something? You ever had a crazy ass metal moment, like most epic metal moment for you guys?
We've played some crazy places, but I would say my most epic metal moment was we were playing Luxembourg, and the stage was wired incorrectly, and something about the phasing of the front of house and the stage was wired improperly. But when my mouth touched the microphone, it literally, there was this blue spark, and it felt like I got hit by a truck. It sent me backwards. It didn't fuse to me. It just shocked me. So it knocked me on my ass.
Really?
I was unconscious for like a couple seconds on the ground. When I got up, I was white as a sheet, and I said, "Fuck this! I'm off the stage."
Oh, that's crazy.
It was crazy.
Well, so what was it? Did they figure out what it was?
It was a faulty wiring, and when it got wet, it shocked me.
Did you get in the Fear Factory helicopter and fly away after that?
No, I just went to the dressing room and counted my fortunes.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm lucky to be here, you know.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I'm glad you're still here.
Yeah, thanks.
I guess my last question, final question. What do you listen to when you don't want to listen to metal? When you want to chill out?
Well, I've been listening to there's this band called A Beautiful Machine that's I don't call them ambient, but they're very textured sonically. Have a very loop. There was a band called Loop a long time ago. That very loop vibe. So it's very sonically textured, and it's just like kind of ins and outs, and I like that. I listen to Willie Nelson a lot.
Nice.
He's I'm from Texas, so I grew up with Willie Nelson, and he's one of my heroes. I listen to I like to listen to like a lot of old songs. You know, when I'm at home, I have a lot of vinyl, and just a DJ. I mean, by myself. I got 2 turntables, and I play like old songs. You know, Todd Rundgren, Saturday Night Fever soundtrack.
Nice.
But Sisters of Mercy sometimes. You know, Nick Cave a lot. I listen to Nick Cave a lot.
Yeah,
Nick Cave is one of my heroes. So Leonard Cohen, another Montreal.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Canadian again.
I love Leonard Cohen. So.
Yeah, Nick Cave is kind of like the Tom Waits of England, I guess.
In a lot of ways, yes. Yeah. And in a lot of ways, Nick Cave was inspired by Tom Waits, because Tom Waits was doing it a long time before Nick Cave came around. So yeah, I can see that. It's very good.
Cool, dude. Thanks for your time.
My pleasure, brother.
Cheers, bud.